You are not welcome in the state of Nevada. You are not welcome in Reno. If you came to cause destruction, go home.
Tensions running high and nearly 24 arrested. The stern message from state and local leaders tonight. And a city stronger together after a night of anger, destruction, and high emotions. How hundreds in our community came together today to lend a helping hand.
Today is a beautiful example of what Reno really is, of people coming out and helping and hoping and wanting to help.
And from coast to coast tonight, a nation in chaos, searching for calm in the wake of the death of George Floyd. But will it come from Washington?
You're watching News 4 at 5 on your side.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ben Marjat. Tonight, tensions remain high from coast to coast after the 5th night of protests in the wake of the death of George Floyd. After a peaceful protest yesterday afternoon in downtown Reno, a much smaller group started to become violent. You're looking at the aftermath there. The demonstrations at times, as you see here, escalating to a riot. There was significant damage to Reno City Hall, the Reno Police Department, and the federal courthouse. According to the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, nearly 24 people were arrested. 16 were reportedly residents of Reno. Some others were from Fallon, and at least one person from California. City and state leaders are responding in the aftermath of the riot. Meanwhile, hundreds of locals have come together to show what Reno is really about. We have full team coverage for you tonight with Kim Burrows and Shaw Ahmad, but let's start with News 4's Miles Bergen live at the Reno Police Station. Miles, you were at what was a very emotional press conference this afternoon.
Yeah, emotional is an understatement there, Ben. Both the city and state addressing the aftermath of the rioters from last night.
Love lives here, not hate.
Emotional reactions from city and state leaders after peaceful protests turned ugly in downtown Reno.
You are not welcome in the state of Nevada. You are not welcome in Reno. If you came to cause destruction, go home. To those of you who are from Nevada, who might have participated in this, I want you to look at what you did. I want you to think about what you did, the damages you did to government property, the damages you did to small businesses that are just starting to reopen as a result of COVID-19, and think about what you've done to those families, to those lives.
Governor Sisolak didn't even plan to speak at this press conference, but he gave his thanks to those who stepped up to put downtown Reno back together.
You want to see the real Reno? Is right there. It's those folks painting the building, cleaning the curbs, picking up the trash. That's what Reno is about. That's what Nevada is about.
Police on the front lines say they put people's lives as priority number one.
We came out of last night with no injuries to any officers and anybody in our community outside of some small scrapes and bruises.
Acting City Manager Jason Soto at a loss for words. He was overcome with gratitude for the Reno community.
I want to thank our community for being out here, for cleaning up our station, for cleaning up City Hall, for cleaning up all the mess.
Reno police say the vandals are slowly being identified because they have plenty of video. They are currently identifying faces, and they will be prosecuting those involved in the vandalism last night. In Reno, I'm Miles Bergen reporting.
All right, thank you, Miles. Meanwhile, we're learning that not all of the demonstrators who did damage last night were even from the Reno area. Kim Burrows is live in downtown with that part of the story tonight. Kim, good evening.
Good evening. The Washoe County Sheriff's Department says that 23 people were arrested. Reno police say at least 12 of those were local, but after they're done investigating, it could be much less. This was not the same group that peacefully protested earlier Saturday.
What they did was very wrong and disrespectful.
Word quickly circulated among social media that some of the demonstrators were not from the area, that they came to start trouble.
I have to believe that because, again, that's not Reno. That's not who we are as a community.
Now police can confirm some were from other communities. Police arrested 23 people. Reno police say 12 were local, but not all had documentation and couldn't prove that. Others were from Fallon, Truckee, and Anderson, California. The governor was livid.
And if you're coming from out of town, and if you're coming to cause a problem in the state of Nevada, get the hell out of town.
Reno police also say there were a lot of people who came into town, most likely for the event, all with California plates. The people that were arrested last night were charged with curfew violations, resisting arrest, fighting, and reckless driving. Reporting live in Reno, Kim Burrows, News 4 on your side.
All right, thank you so much, Kim. And we're also learning more tonight about the damage inside City Hall. Crews at City Hall are cleaning up the brunt of the damage today. Let's take a look here. Vandals smashed out windows, lit a fire inside, and damaged artwork there. It's unclear if they took anything, but there was lots of damage inside the City Hall chambers. Crews were putting up plywood until they could replace the broken windows, and even posted signs of support, including one saying, "We love Reno." Just hours ago, city officials released a statement saying City Hall will be closed tomorrow to staff and the public to allow time to repair and assess damages. The building has remained open during the pandemic at a limited capacity. City officials went on to thank those who volunteered this morning to help clean up. In response to the vandalism and destruction last night, hundreds of Nevadans gathered this morning to help clean up the city. News 4's Shaw Mott was at today's cleanup, joins us now live from City Plaza. Shaw, the turnout today was pretty impressive and inspiring to see personally after what happened last night.
Well, Ben, as you mentioned earlier, vandals smashed windows, they set a car on fire and sprayed graffiti on walls and stores. But today, hundreds of Nevadans rallied to clean up the city and show what Reno truly is about. Earlier this morning, hundreds of Nevadans showed up to downtown Reno to clean up the aftermath of yesterday's riot. The size of the crowd rivaling the number of vandals last night. Several different groups, including the Black Lives Matter organizers, local businesses, and public officials rallied the volunteers, bringing trash bags, gloves, and other cleaning supplies. Volunteers picked up trash, swept broken glass, and scrubbed off the graffiti. While many volunteers say they were horrified by last night's events, most are proud to see their community rallying together today.
I hope Reno's going to move forward. We've been so concerned for our business, for our friends' businesses, and this really hit us hard last night. There was a breaking point, but then today walking out here is just so bright to see people show up for you. When somebody shows up for you, it's amazing.
You know, being in City Plaza last night, I saw some of the worst of Reno. But today, seeing so many community members rally together to clean up Reno, I saw some of the best of the biggest little city. And coming up on News 4 at 11, hear from more of those volunteers and why they're trying to push for progress instead of focusing on the aftermath of yesterday's riot. Ben?
All right, thanks, Shaw. Tonight, the streets in Reno are mostly quiet. There's no sign of anyone protesting so far tonight, but police are keeping a close eye on the community. Reno police say the National Guard is on standby to make sure this doesn't happen again. Just south of where the riot happened, business owners in Midtown started to worry that their businesses would be damaged too. Joe Stella Coffee is in a prime spot right on Virginia Street. Their owner says she and her brother went back to the store last night when things started to escalate to put all the chairs away to take away anything rioters could have used to damage their shop.
It was scary. I mean, I was just scared for all of these businesses. I mean, there's just everybody's window base down here, so I was more afraid that people were going to get their windows broken, that I was going to get my windows broken. I was just hoping it would stay further north.
Their store, thankfully, was not damaged. The damage farthest south that we saw was at the Money Tree location on the north end of Midtown, right on Virginia Street. Attorney General Aaron Ford and law enforcement held a community conversation on the death of George Floyd on Facebook Live today. Washoe County Sheriff Darren Balaam joined the Attorney General and others for the discussion on policing and the death of George Floyd.
They don't feel heard. They don't feel like their concerns are being addressed, and maybe some of them are and they don't realize, but it comes from a lack of communication. And so when I think we're looking at these protests across the country, we have to look at making sure the community is heard.
The live stream ended a little early because of a possible hacker, but the Attorney General's office has since uploaded the full recording, that full community conversation on policing, on their Facebook page. Today is a little cooler. Let's check in with meteorologist Eric DeBroca tracking our temperatures. Eric, how are we looking for the rest of our weekend and the start of our work week?
Well, we're going to start to warm things up again dramatically as we continue our roller coaster ride. We've really been on this temperature-wise since late March. Up and down, up and down. We're going to make another return to the 90s before long, and then, yes, another storm on the horizon there in a nutshell. But look at now, we are seeing some clouds in the short-term forecast increasing from the southwest. Temperatures not bad. They're warmer off to the east again with mostly sunny skies out that way. Elko 80. Reno and Carson, the low to mid 70s under those mostly cloudy skies. Check this out. Just really after 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, these clouds started streaming on in. And yes, even a few light showers towards Topaz Lake there, parts of Douglas County. They were starting to see those over on the other side of the Sierra. So get ready for lots of clouds this evening before we will eventually clear out later on tomorrow. Ben?
Thanks, Eric. Breaking news just into our newsroom. Out of an abundance of caution and given the events that happened last night, Reno Mayor Hillary Sheeby has issued another mandatory curfew order within Reno city limits starting at 5:30 tonight. So there is a curfew in the city of Reno starting in about 20 minutes. We'll, of course, continue to follow the very latest in that story. But in other headlines tonight, there are no new COVID-19 related deaths to report in Washoe County. So far, there have been 60 deaths in the county. As of right now, 58 people are hospitalized. Washoe County health officials reported 29 more cases today and 12 more recoveries. 898 people have recovered, and the total number of cases is 1,577. Asymptomatic COVID-19 to Washoe County starting tomorrow going through June 6th. It'll happen at the Washoe County drive-up location from 8 a.m. to noon, and it is free. This is if you have no symptoms at all but do want to get tested. Health officials say it's critical to assess just how much the virus has spread in our community. The health district can do up to 900 tests a day. If you're interested and want to schedule an appointment, go to our website, mynews4.com.
I'm tracking some clouds moving into our area this evening, even some rain showers possible. I'll break down your extended forecast, which does feature more heat coming in.
Back, everyone. If you're just now joining us, we have some developing news. The mayor of the city of Reno has instituted another mandatory curfew order. It's going into effect in about 15 minutes at 5:30. It will be in effect until tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning unless it's extended further. During that time, only people who need to be out, for instance, essential workers going to and from work, medical personnel, will be allowed to be out. So there is another curfew in effect tonight in the city of Reno starting in about 15 minutes. Many people are asking where the country goes from here, and political differences are leaving many at odds with the answer. Sinclair National correspondent Atra El-Nashar shows us the different ways leaders in Washington are trying to craft new solutions to a centuries-old problem of racial injustice at the hands of police.
Violent protests across the country bred by anger for the death of George Floyd.
This was a murderer in a police uniform. There's no question about that.
Democrats and Republicans all appearing in agreement. What happened in this video was wrong.
Our young people are asking for justice.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar introducing a resolution for Congress to condemn police brutality, racial profiling, and use of excessive force.
We need to really step back and say to ourselves, where do we actually go from here?
Republicans also taking action. Chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham, says he was appalled by the video and his committee will hold a hearing on the use of police force. Some are pointing to the politics of city leaders for why many riots are turning violent.
Cities run by progressives don't know how to police.
And for why Floyd died in the first place.
Superior officers should have been on the scene of when Mr. Floyd was killed. It probably wouldn't have happened.
Some Democrats are drafting laws to hold officials accountable, like starting a national registry for officers with a history of misconduct and banning racial and religious profiling.
We have steps, concerted steps that we have to take. And my worry right now, amidst this time of pain and hurt and rage, is that in a month or two, people will go back to normal.
Many are pointing to the November election as a tangible way for voters to decide the future of the country, especially for African Americans who are being hit harder than others by the pandemic, and for many who fear their safety around police. In Washington, I'm Atrell Bashar reporting.
All right, let's check in now with meteorologist Eric DeBroca. Eric, obviously things have been chaotic in the news world. How about over there in the weather world? We'd have pretty calm weather actually compared to yesterday. We had that red flag warning.
Yeah, I think it was just a kind of a chaotic day yesterday all around, weather-wise as well. Those winds whipping around us, even gusts toppling 40, 45 miles per hour at the airport. Nothing of the sorts this afternoon and evening, much calmer day, but now we notice the clouds in the backdrop here over Lake Tahoe building on in from the southwest. Humidity starting to creep up at least a little bit. Temperatures, though, after a really nice morning and early afternoon, we're in the middle 70s, and in some spots even close to 80, especially farther off to the east. Fallon, you're in the upper 70s. Hawthorne, likewise. Silver Spring, 75, and even off towards Truckee, there in the middle 60s that way as well. Do want to show you the extended picture here because there is a lot of heat building already. Mid-90s in Las Vegas, 90 degrees in Salt Lake City, and even downstate closer to Tonopah, reaching 80, even into those lower 80s. So there's plenty of heat around, but we are starting to see some clouds move on in before we really start to heat up later on in the week. Your forecast for tonight, hanging around the middle 70s, but notice all the clouds, mostly cloudy skies, if not completely overcast. That's going to keep us milder tonight and a little bit calmer as well. But with that said, it's possible to see some light rain showers popping up. Actually, we are right now south of Carson City, especially south of US 50 here towards Douglas County, Gardner, and Minden, Gardnerville, seeing some light rain showers building on in, even south of Lake Tahoe. So you see some of this green here starting to come on into our region. So expect these clouds to linger really through the rest of our Sunday evening, even into Monday. It's after that time frame here, I'm looking into early next week. This is a very weak disturbance. We will see our winds kind of peak up there tomorrow afternoon. Again, 15, 20 miles an hour, nothing significant until say next weekend. It'll be a very different story. By the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, our skies open up, lots of sunshine, and that yet again will allow us to develop a significant heat wave for this time, although much shorter than last week. Again, I'm talking about 90s widespread, this time lower 90s, not as hot as last week. But this is going to stick around Wednesday and Thursday, the core of this heat, and then big changes for our first weekend here in June. Very high winds. This could even be a stronger storm system than we just looked at yesterday and even into Friday of last week, where it could be looking at some significant rain showers for most of us here through, say, next Sunday and Monday, with tanking temperatures well below average. Some of us may not get out of the 60s for next Monday, about 8-9 days from now. 55 for tonight, though, because of that thicker cloud overcast deck. We'll be looking at some warmer temperatures for us. For tomorrow, 76, so sort of like today, only a cloudier morning, some afternoon wind. Will eventually peel away some of those clouds late day. And then look at our temperature trend, especially early to midweek. Middle 80s on Tuesday, lots of sunshine as well for Wednesday. Low, maybe even some mid-90s off to the east. We start to cool off on Friday, just in time for our weekend. Our next big weather maker there, next Sunday, 72. And the following Monday, stuck in the upper 60s with some rain showers around for Tahoe.
Thanks, Eric. After the break, more positivity tonight. How citizens of Reno are showing their support to one another during this challenging time. Coming up later tonight on News 4 at 11, Reno police shut down the interstate off-ramps during last night's violent demonstration. Kim Burrows explains why that was necessary to help restore peace in Reno. Tonight, some positive things are coming from the damage Reno suffered. Today in downtown, a group made signs thanking police, and they chanted as they walked through the streets. You see them there. Several other groups handed out water and food to the volunteers and city workers.
And 2 children even made signs that say, "We love Reno," and "Thank you, law enforcement." Their mother said it was a learning lesson for them to see all the volunteers cleaning, that good can come from the bad last night.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a girl that can't have been more older than 4 or 5 years old handing out little bottles of hand sanitizer. It was truly awesome. I was out there this morning to see the entire community rallying around, and it was a beautiful day to do that, Eric.
I saw some pictures of you, Ben. I was proud of you there. But no, the weather certainly cooperated. Lots of sunshine, but now expect a few light rain showers through tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks, Eric. Thanks for watching, everyone. Mandatory curfew in effect. We'll see you tonight at 11.